Welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and I love seeing business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs have massive success in their businesses. Are you ready to reach a higher level in your business? Are you looking to rise to the top and break through the barriers that are holding you back? If this is you, join us on the Mind for Success podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and I am excited to introduce Irina Poddubnaia on our podcast today. How'd I do with the name pronunciation? I was practicing.
Awesome.
Thank you. So Irina is, she's an expert in eCommerce and she's with TrackMage at TrackMage.com. And she's going to talk to us today about a lot of different things. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more in depth about what she does, because she can do it a whole lot better than I can. So welcome to the podcast, Irina.
Thank you, Kim. And I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about what I do. That's what it is. All right. So yeah. So start
there. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
So I own a company, TrackMage.com, and we help e-commerce stores get extra sales from existing customers. So basically, we help with the post-purchase experience, which is a fancy way of saying everything that happens after the buyer actually presses the buy button. So the post-purchase experience is everything that happens afterwards. So we help e-commerce businesses with displaying their own tracking pages. So we replace the pages provided by UPS, FedEx, DHL with their own tracking page. And on that tracking page, they can sell additional products to the same customers. And that's been working quite well because the customers, they are very genuinely curious when the package is coming to their doorstep. And that's why they're checking those pages 1 or 2 times per day, especially impatient customers 5 times per day. And that's a lot of traffic.
Right.
That's a lot of traffic to give to UPS, FedEx, or DHL. Like, why would you? And the e-commerce stores, they are usually paying for retargeting ads. And they are paying for additional marketing opportunities with like coupons or like discounts, when they could literally just provide the tracking information and get extra sales because they provided the tracking information themselves, not UPS. That's the idea.
Yeah, so smart. It really is. So, and you explained that really well. I could have never done it the way you did. So I would love, because we had this conversation before, I always love to hear people's backstories. So I'd love to hear how you got started. And I think everybody's going to enjoy this because it's a little bit funny. From what I remember.
Well, at some point in my career, I got tired from being a 9-to-5 salesperson. And even though the jobs were not really, how to say that, they were not really inspiring because I was selling frozen berries in bulk. I attended some conferences, and one time I even went to Paris to a conference. But that was it. That was the highlight of my life. The hours I was spending it in the office, like writing emails, like calling. That's it. At that point of my life, I just thought that like I could do so much more. I could do so much better. And that's when I met my husband. We were both a little bit unconventional people. That's why we decided to, once the very moment we get married, we decided to start traveling. But instead of traveling like normal people do, we went to China and we started our own business there. And I should also mention, we do not speak Chinese. We still do not speak Chinese, even after spending 2.5 years there, running a fulfillment center. And we kind of survived on like all the things that we had to figure out. Like we came to China without any customers. to be quite frank. So we had to find the customers first. We were finding them online. Then we were finding the suppliers. And then we also were building our own system to process the orders, to do the fulfillment part, and to manage the warehouse. That's what we did. And all that by two people without speaking Chinese in China, being physically in China. So all that was very challenging, to say the least. Like if I usually try to evaluate my experience, and this one is coming to me like, if there was a way to say like the maximum level difficulty, that would be it. Because like you don't just start a business, right? You go to a different country where you don't know anything, like you don't even speak the language, and that's when you start the business. Yeah. So that was the beginning of our journey to where we are, because once this business was over, at some point we just lost our biggest customer, and the business was no longer sustainable because we had to still pay for the warehouse. We still had to pay for all the infrastructure, but our profits dropped. So at that point, we just said that like packaging boxes and like being stuck in the warehouse 24 hours, that's not what we want to do as well. And that's when we went back to working online and helping e-commerce businesses with their setups and setting their stores, setting their operations, and all this stuff actually led to discovering this opportunity to repurpose all the systems that we built for our own needs in China. So that's when TrackMage, it was born from the previous experience, the previous projects, and all the things we did for the customers in e-commerce space. So that's how TrackMage was actually crafted. It was crafted like in the trenches, and then with the actual e-commerce businesses in the picture as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's really a unique story because, well, I can't even imagine, because a new entrepreneur, you already have so many challenges, and then the nuance of being in a different country and not speaking the language and all of that. I'm just, kudos to you and your husband that you were able to work through that. And then out on the other side, this is why I love working or talking with entrepreneurs, because you turned something that was a challenge into a business, and you figured it out, and now you're serving people.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that that cat is probably trying to do something with the plant in the background.
Oh, I didn't even see him back there.
Yeah, I think the viewers are going to notice, oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so for the view, or for the people that are listening, my cat is on my table in the background. So he's normally not so doesn't show himself. So he's the cat that hides everywhere. Anyway,
all right.
It's funny. So tell us a little bit about just the e-commerce, the customer experience. Like, how would people?
Yeah.
What would be key for customer retention?
Yeah. So when it comes to customer retention, the businesses, they have to go through a certain mind shift, or the mindset shift. Because the thing is, currently, the customer experience is an afterthought. It's considered a cost, it's considered a liability for the business. And the majority of e-commerce businesses, they don't really care about the post-purchase customer experience. All they care about is customer acquisition, the new marketing campaign, new sales. But what happens after the purchase isn't their concern. And the same thing happens with even the structure of the companies, where all the bonuses, all the trips to Hawaii, they go to the sales department or marketing department, but then to the customer support department or customer care, nothing. That's not our concern. So the mindset shift that needs to happen is that if we think about our business holistically, if we think about our business holistically, we understand that it's not just this funnel structure where we are very loud, we acquire a lot of customers, when they convert to a sale, and that's it, that's the end of the process. It's more of a cycle or an actual flywheel Because there is this model that was introduced by HubSpot called flywheel model, where customer service is actually the finishing part of that curve or that cycle, where the customer, like they notice us, they purchase from us, and then they receive the best customer service. And that's when they actually become loyal to the brand and they buy again. And then they are just like kind of spinning on that wheel for as long as the business is still offering something that they want to buy. Because if you're still selling the same T-shirt that you sold like every season, probably the customer is not going to buy it every season. But if you're selling something that is consumable, like supplements, you might be even introducing e-commerce subscription, where the customer is going to be buying those supplements because they are consumable and they run out. So it just depends on the model. So to provide the best customer experience, or to provide the best experience for the customer retention, you have to definitely think about long-term strategy. So if your long-term strategy is to grow your business exponentially, you need to strive to retain every customer you acquire. It shouldn't be just like one-off purchase where the customer buys from you, you incur all the acquisition costs, and then you don't even get any lifetime value from that customer. It was just this one transaction where you could even be losing money. In a lot of businesses, there are those tripwire products where the customer is buying and you're losing money on that product. And then that's it. That's the only purchase that they are making. So you should prevent that from happening. You should always think about the customer not buying just once, but buying multiple times. And for that, you need the post-purchase experience.
I love it. And there's, when you started, you talked about mindset, which is, that I'm all about that. Because you're right. If we don't, we have to create good experiences. And I know I can remember times where I had bad experiences in customer services. I mean, I'm sure everybody has a story with that. But I also distinctly remember when I've had good experiences, and I will tell other people about it. I will, because that stands out. It's really unusual. So I do think it's a great way to set yourself apart from other people, the competition. So I love it. I think,
well, I could just add to that. So yes, to stand out in this like ocean of mediocrity, you just have to do you just have to care enough to provide the normal post-purchase experience, like so that nothing just goes wrong or goes terribly for the customer. So if you just if you want to stand out from the crowd, just solve the customer problems when they contact you about that problem. Don't ignore them. Don't ghost them. Don't don't try to pick a fight for them. It's all about just caring enough to solve a problem. So if there is a problem, but if there is no problem, you also need to take proactive action to inform the customer about everything that happens, so that they don't worry and they are always positively thinking about what is happening currently. Yeah. Even if you have a delay, by the way, because if you have a delay, but you notify them, you come forward and say oh, there is a delay. We are very sorry. We're trying to resolve it. The customer is not going to worry because they know you're on it. That's
Right. Yep. It's all about communication, it sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah, communication, and I'm guessing the systems that need to be in place to make all that happen.
Yes. So what typically happens after the purchase in a typical funnel or some kind of business that is sales oriented and they are not thinking about their customer long term, there is going to be a communication gap. You buy something, you are very excited about it, and then there are crickets for maybe a month, and then you receive it in a box, and you already don't remember that you ordered it. So that's what typically happens in those businesses. But if the post-purchase experience is in the picture, that's the opposite. The customer is going to be checking the information. They're going to be constantly thinking about the brand. They're going to see another set of products they could be buying. So all that actually contributes to the customer thinking about your brand.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds like you make it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is like the truth is it is easy. Just a lot of businesses, they overlook this part because they have other priorities, and their priority is like, oh, sales, 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 new marketing campaign. We should run a marketing campaign on new social media that was just launched, like on whatever.
Yeah. I think you're right, because I know people don't always think about retaining, but it's in my mind, it's a lot easier to, keep a customer than to go get it's expensive to go get a new one, or it can be.
Well, it is. And the statistics actually is on our side when we make those conclusions, because it's 5 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. So basically, for every one customer that you acquire, you could be retaining 5 existing ones.
Mm. Yeah, I knew there was a statistic out there, and you
Yes.
knew it.
Of course, it's my business. Like, that's
Right.
why.
Right. It's like something that I heard, or, had seen about that. And I love it. So how about reducing cost? Is there a way to reduce cost in customer support, or, anything? Because I know that's, especially with all the economy stuff that people are dealing with right now in the business world, that's front of mind. Costs are definitely front of mind.
Yes, it's definitely becoming more and more pressing topic with all the layoffs and the recession that's happening, and it's definitely a priority for the businesses now to cut costs. But how do you cut costs with customer support? You certainly don't start from firing people randomly, because your customer support representatives who are going to remain, they're going to get overwhelmed. What you could do, you could look through your process and see what can be automated. In e-commerce businesses, what we noticed is that with 70-ish% of all the inquiries that come to the store, they are all about the status of the order, which is very easily automatable. And again, it's very inundating for the customer support to answer like, where is my order? Where is my order? Where is my order? 100 times per day. And
Right.
It doesn't even make sense, really, from the standpoint of the business to continue paying them for the hours where they are answering the question that can be easily, automatically, proactively communicated to the customer. So that's what...
That makes a lot of sense. And then they are actually being used for true support, and not just putting out little fires of where's my order.
Yes. And sometimes the customers, if the brand is selling internationally, they can come from different time zones. That's what happened with us in China, because the customers were asking questions at 4 a.m. Or like at 2 a.m. And then they were very furious if we didn't answer in 5 minutes or 3 seconds for that matter, because people are utterly impatient. And if the customer support is not there to just like answer right away, the person is just going to say like, oh my God, what if they didn't ship my order? What if this is a scam? What if I need to refund the purchase? People make those emotional decisions when they really don't have any grounds for that. In that case.
Yeah, I could see that. And working with something that's automated, I would think it would help people see that, yes, this is a professional company. Yes, I made the right decision. Like all those things would come into play too. And your customer support person isn't getting overwhelmed, because I would think somebody that was overwhelmed may get crabby. Which would you want a crabby person talking to your people, to your customers?
Yeah. Well, again, when it comes to customer support, it's all about optimization. And if your customer support, they are going to see all the orders on one page, and we're going to be able to search for them based on like partial information that the customer is sharing. Like, oh, hi, my name is Jane. Like, oh, yeah, Jane, from which country are you? Like, what is your address? And then they're going to be able to find their package. Or they're going to ask for their email address. Usually customers can forget their tracking number. They're going to forget their order number, but are they going to forget their email? Well, Probably not. So
Right.
based on that, we will find out.
Yeah, that's perfect. So another topic, but similar to I guess the whole experience that you are helping people create. What about reviews? I know I love to get reviews. It helps my business. A lot of people want to do searches and see, check out companies. So tell us a little bit about how you could help with that.
Reviews are also part of this long-term strategy, because if you are just for a quick money grab, you don't really care about reviews. Like if you're selling some product that is cheap and is made with like low quality materials, but you don't care about the long-term success of the company or long-term brand building, you will not care about reviews. But if you actually want to build a brand, if you actually want to build a sustainable company, that's when you start gathering that goodwill from the customers, where you go above and beyond to satisfy them and to exceed their expectations. So one part of that would be to get reviews and use those reviews in your marketing and for just getting more and more purchases. Because if customers were raving about certain product, everyone else is going to notice and they're also going to buy the product. That's especially true on the marketplaces where the products are competing against one another. But it's also important for standalone stores where you're selling a product and somebody's going to Google that product plus reviews. We're just going to do that. So the idea is the reviews, the idea is you need to ask for reviews. It's an interesting point to make, but most e-commerce businesses, they either don't ask for reviews at all because they're afraid or they just didn't think that they should. I don't know what the reason is. Or they ask for reviews at their own time. So let's imagine somebody like ordered a tablet from the company and then the tablet is traveling. And there is an automated email sequence that is going to ask for a review in 2 weeks' time. But what if the product doesn't arrive in 2 weeks? The customers, they're not going to go to their inbox once they receive the product and like, look, oh yeah, there was an email asking for a review. I just don't remember where it was. Like, let me search for the brand name or something. They're not going to do that. If you don't ask them for a review at the right time, when they actually receive the package, you're probably not going to get that review at all. And the statistics also shows that. In e-commerce businesses, only 5% of purchases result in any kind of review. And typically those reviews are negative because the most motivated customer to leave a review is the customer who is furious, who is just like going to tear your company to shreds.
That's what I was thinking. The person that didn't get their package is going to leave a review.
Yes. Absolutely. But then what we noticed with TrackMage is that when you ask for a review after the purchase actually arrived, like the very moment the package transitions from from in transit to delivered, that's when you ask for a review. And the number of reviews is like 4 times the industry average. So it's not 5%, but 20% of the customers were leaving reviews, and they are predominantly positive. Just because the customer just literally got their package and they opened the product and they experienced it. And when their experience is fresh, they can share it with other people. And they would love to tell you the review at the very moment when they receive the package.
I can see how this whole system that you have works holistically, because if you give the customers a positive experience through the whole process, of course, they're going to give a positive review. So all works together.
Yes.
So I love it.
It's all about the flywheel, like just like make it spin, make it bigger, like, and then you like the clever automation, you can scale it almost infinitely for as long as there is demand in your niche for that specific product.
Right. And I know, I know you've referenced the flywheel a couple of times. So tell us a little bit, because I know you've got a free ebook.
Yes.
That I'm assuming has that flywheel in it because it's in the name.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll make sure we link it in the show notes.
Yes. So there is this free guide about how to get 5 to 10% extra sales from existing customers without having to spend money on ads or hiring more staff. That's how it's called. It literally delivers on the name. So you will have a step-by-step guide how to do this. If you decide to do it yourself, you can still do this because with our tools, you can set it up. But since we have the tool that already does everything that you need, TrackMage, you can just sign up and also use it. So yeah, should I voice the link or it's
you
a little
can
bit long.
go ahead and,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have it in the show notes, so it'll all show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find the guide at trackmage.com/flywheel-extra-sales. And you will find it right where you can download it and see it, of course.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody goes and checks that out, because I do, especially, I mean, obviously, if you have an e-commerce type business, this will help you. This will help you along, and you can connect with Irina. We have your LinkedIn links that we can share. Is there anything else you want to add as far as connecting with you?
LinkedIn is probably the best place to connect with me. And like right now, we're trying to grow the Twitter account as well, like just trying to make it more fun and interactive. We're always posting some interesting e-commerce tips and industry news. And if you would like to follow us, at TrackMage on any platform that you can find, even TikTok, at TrackMage.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to follow each other. I'm on TikTok too, so
Ooh, great.
It's a new thing for me, but it's been fun. So thank you so much, Irina, for being on today. It's been lovely. I love your story, and you got the hard part done first with your story. The hard part's out of the way, and so now you can do anything. I want to encourage our listeners to check out her socials and go grab the freebie trackmage.com/flywheel-extra-sales that she mentioned, and we'll have that in the show notes as well.
Are you ready to break through the barriers that are holding you back and reach a higher level in your business in just 4 hours? Be sure to click the link today and join other high-achieving professionals that have worked with Kimberly Lebbing to accelerate their success.